Venturing into a haunted forest is one thing, but what happens when the forest itself seems to be hunting you? Tonight, we delve into a terrifying investigation that pushes one explorer to his absolute limit. This footage will make you question what really lurks in the darkness between the trees. Let's jump straight into this chilling encounter. Meet Dan, the investigator behind the YouTube channel Cursed Urban. Dan bravely explores some of the most paranormally active locations, seeking to document the unexplainable. His channel is a testament to his courage. But on a return trip to a place known as the Mimic Forest, he would find himself in a situation far more sinister than he could have ever anticipated. Dan arrives at the infamous Mimic Forest, a place he's visited before and experienced disembodied voices and screams. This time, his plan is more ambitious. A stealth camping trip overnight in his car, hoping to capture definitive evidence of the entity, said to mimic human voices to lure its victims deeper into the woods.
And we're going to try some other stuff. A little bit of background on this area. Supposedly there is a mimic creature in here. What a mimic is it does mimicry. It mimics your voice. It tries to draw you into the woods to eat you, to kill you. I don't know what exactly it does, because people who are brought in by mimics tend not to come back to tell the tale. So supposedly there's a mimic creature in these woods.
He sets off into the darkening trees, ready for whatever the night has in store. As he explores, Dan stumbles upon a disturbing clearing with downed trees arranged in a circle, matching the description of a ritual site he had been told about. The atmosphere is immediately heavy.
And I'm already getting creeped out, dude. No matter how many times I do this, how many times I go out camping and stuff, I don't know if I'll ever get used to the fact of just like wandering into a dark forest, at night by myself. It's always something else. Oh, what's this? Dude, look at this. What's going on here? Yo, what is this about? See this? There's like this stuffing all shredded. I don't know, that's weird. Guys, let me know in the comments if you have any idea what this stuff is. Maybe it is like some sort of like plant or whatever, but I don't see it on anything else. It's just that one tree. Which, to do stuff like that always sketches me out for real, because this forest is really, really known for a lot of disappearances, and a lot of these disappearances have been swept under the rug. So,
deciding this is the perfect spot to begin his investigation, he pulls out a Spirit Talker app, hoping to make contact with whatever spirits or entities reside there. The forest doesn't wait long to respond. A faint laugh echoes from the trees, and the Spirit Talker app ominously warns of a bad spirit. The laughter returns closer this time, as Dan notices a trail of snapped and broken trees, as if something large was dragged through the area. The device chillingly spells out the word victim.
I'm trying to figure out a way to hold my phone, my camera, and get the flashlight out so you guys can see a bit more instead of nothing. So I got a very weak light on the camera right now. Actually, you know what?
Hear my voice.
Hear my voice. Let me turn this up. Way up. It's going to kill the battery on it, but maybe you'll be... Yeah, there you guys go. Now you can see something. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. Alright. Better... And then it said, hear my voice. And it was just about 30 seconds after it said each of those things that we heard it. Dude, we're in for something tonight. We are in for something tonight. For sure. 1950s.
Then, a loud crack, like a branch snapping, erupts nearby, only to be echoed moments later from a completely different direction. A classic sign of the mimic he came to find. Pressing on despite the growing sense of dread, Dan follows a path near the river, the source of the strange noises. What happens next confirms he is not alone. For a fleeting moment, he sees a pale white figure poke its head out from behind a tree, silhouetted by a distant light, before it vanishes without a sound.
There we go. All set up. Tent is done. A lot easier than I remember. Alright, so tent's done. Sleeping bag needs to go in there. Put this stuff away before I lose something. That's about it. Going to,
The disembodied laughing follows soon after, now sounding like a taunt. He is being watched. Dan cautiously makes his way back to the ritual clearing, only to find something that wasn't there before. 2 sticks laid out in the shape of an X. As he processes this unsettling new discovery, the spirit talker delivers its most direct and terrifying message yet.
This was not here. This was not here. The last time we were here. This was 100% not here. Before. It's like a cross or an X. Like X marks. No, it's more like an X than a cross. Like an X marks the spot. It just, dude, it just said ha ha. Yo, it just said ha ha. Okay. With all, come on. With all the laughing we've been hearing tonight in the woods, and now we get ha ha on a spirit talker. That's not a coincidence, dude. That is not a coincidence.
The entity isn't just present, it's actively mocking him, confirming the laughter was meant for him all along. Feeling completely unsafe and hunted, Dan retreats to his car for the night, hoping the steel and glass will offer some protection. He manages to fall asleep, but is violently woken by the same chilling laughter he heard in the woods. Before he can even process what's happening, 2 loud, aggressive bangs strike his car windows, one on each side in rapid succession.
Alright guys, I just woke up. And what woke me up is it sounded like laughing. Sound like that same laughing I heard before, just way closer. What the dude? What the was that? What the was that? Oh! What the dude? Holy holy oh, what the oh, what the was that? Oh, dude, there's something outside the car. There's something outside this.
Panic floods him as he realizes there is nothing and no one visible outside. The creature is right there with him. Terror overtakes him. Dan scrambles to pack his gear and get out of the forest as fast as possible. There is no question in his mind. He was being toyed with, hunted by something intelligent, malicious, and dangerously close. The laughter, the mimicked sounds, the pale figure, and the final assault on his car were all part of a terrifying game that could have ended in tragedy. Some spirits are content to make their presence known with a whisper or a cold spot. The entity in the mimic forest, however, is far more aggressive and physical. It doesn't just want you to know it's there, it wants you to be terrified. Dan was wise to flee when he did, leaving the dark woods behind. One thing is certain, the creature is still out there, laughing and waiting for its next visitor. Meet Ian, the adventurer behind the YouTube channel Ian on YouTube. His videos offer viewers a raw and unfiltered glimpse into his life. From breathtaking hikes through nature to the harsh reality of sleeping in his car, Ian invites his audience into experiences few would dare to share. But one night, in the pursuit of compelling content, he found himself confronting the very real dangers of his own city. The day began peacefully with a hike. But when night fell, the atmosphere changed. After finishing a late shift at work, Ian decided to take on a risky challenge for his subscribers to survive a night in what he described as a very, very, very bad area.
So I just got out of work, and what a day I had. I got a couple stories to share with you guys. This is a very, very, very bad area. If you look right now, this is where we are. There's a liquor store here that's closed. There is another liquor store here. And if you go around the corner, there's another liquor store right there.
At 2 a.m., the city felt almost abandoned. The streets were lined with shuttered businesses, the air thick with unease. As Ian drove through the dimly lit roads, he couldn't ignore the feeling that eyes might be on him. This area was notorious. Constant foot traffic and the presence of unpredictable, sometimes hostile characters made it clear this was no place to let his guard down.
I'm starting to get pretty sketched out. My city's pretty ghetto. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this probably isn't the best idea. There's a lot of foot traffic, a lot of interesting characters.
His goal was simple: find a spot to survive the night without incident, but every option felt dangerous. A filthy alleyway, a shadowed side street, each potential camping spot carried its own risks, amplifying his growing anxiety.
Camp here. There's no way. There's just so much bad going on. I've just been sitting here kind of observing for a second, seeing what's going on, and there's no way I survived the night out here without getting a broken window or something. This is insane. No, definitely not this dirty alleyway. I can't believe how bad my city has gotten. It was relatively nice before when I was a kid, but now it's just an absolute dump. And it's really sad to see like the city you grew up in just turn into like
Finally, he chose a supermarket parking lot. It wasn't perfect, but it offered at least a small sense of safety amid the chaos. Settling in, Ian tried to create some normalcy by preparing a grilled cheese sandwich in the back of his car. The smell of butter sizzling on the pan, the simplicity of the moment, stood in eerie contrast to the hostile energy just outside his locked doors.
but I'm gonna give it my best shot. And we are going to see if I can make a grilled cheese sandwich in the back of my car. This is the strangest thing I've ever done in my entire life, bro. Got out of work, I went on a hike, I'm here in a parking lot at 2 a.m. making grilled cheese in the back of my Kia Forte.
That click of the lock was more than a precaution. It was a fragile barrier between Ian and the dangers of the night. Every sound beyond his window became amplified. Footsteps, distant voices, the occasional car creeping past. Though no direct confrontation ever came, the dread was constant. The fear wasn't of the unknown like in a forest. It was of something far more unsettling, the unpredictability of other people. The hours dragged on, every moment tense. Ian didn't rest. Not really. The unease of being surrounded by desperate strangers in a dangerous part of the city left him wired, alert, and painfully aware of his vulnerability. By morning, he emerged unscathed. But the experience had left its mark. Ian's story serves as a chilling reminder. Sometimes the most frightening place to spend the night isn't a haunted forest or an abandoned building. It's the city itself after everyone else has gone to sleep. Exploring unknown places can lead to incredible discoveries, but sometimes the most unsettling findings aren't what you expect to see, but what you hear. And in one particular video, the focus shifted from the drive to a deeply unsettling exploration, where strange sounds and fleeting observations created a chilling atmosphere. On the night of August 13th, 2023, A small, obscure YouTube channel uploaded a short video titled, "I went camping and woke up to a bear attacking my tent." Pretty crazy. What it captured was far more chilling than the title suggested.
There's something in it.
The man behind the camera was simply trying to fall asleep, nestled in what should have been a peaceful, remote campsite, when a strange sound began to drift in from the darkness outside. At first, he assumed it was just another wild animal. But then, without warning, the noise surged, louder, sharper, deeply unsettling. As panic crept in, he switched on a light only to confirm his worst fear. It wasn't just any animal, it was a bear. The sound intensified. So did his fear. In a moment of desperation, he reached for his gun and aimed it toward the tent wall, toward the unknown. It was as if the noise had cracked something open inside him. A primal awareness. Pure survival. The video ends abruptly, cutting to black. Yet, the questions still linger. Was it really a bear stalking just beyond the fabric of his tent? Did it come closer? Did he fire? Or did the creature simply vanish into the night, leaving behind only silence and the echo of terror? And most haunting of all, did the man make it out alive? Meet the creator behind Love Sundays, a van-dwelling YouTuber who chases freedom on the road, finds peace in stealth camping, and shares the honest highs and lows of life in a van. Her channel celebrates solitude and simple routines. But one seemingly ordinary trip turned into a nightmare that exposed just how unpredictable solo travel can be.
I am parked on the side of a road. I have parked across from a bit of a clearing. After last week's video where I had a little bit of aggro, I decided this week I'm just going to come out in the middle of nowhere so that I can have a little bit of downtime. And looking at it, it looks fine at the moment, but as soon as the sun starts to go down, I think it might get a little bit creepy around here.
She arrived at a remote clearing after a stressful day, a perfect little patch of quiet to recharge in daylight. Everything felt safe, a place to park, slow cook, a lamb stew, and breathe. Still, she couldn't shake a faint unease, the kind you get when a place looks different under the sun than it might under nightfall. She shrugged it off and wandered into the nearby trees, trusting the stew to simmer away while she soaked up the woods. When dusk fell, the air shifted.
Food to slowly cook away. I think I'll be a bit of a wuss if I don't actually go for a wander in the woods when the sun's down. I'm not gonna lie, this is a little bit freaky. And you'd think the lights would make it better, but it doesn't. It just... What was that? Sorry, I got freaked out then. It just makes all eyes be on you. So if there's anything in here, there's only going to be animals and things, but you just don't know, do you? Angry badger or something, but it just might jump out on me. But anyway, I'm going to head back to the van like a coward.
The peaceful exploration that had felt grounding by day took on an edge she couldn't ignore. Memories of films like Blair Witch crawled into her head, amplifying every shadow. Vulnerable and uncomfortable with the encroaching darkness, she returned to the van to eat and try to sleep. Then a car pulled up outside.
It's just pulled up, and it sounds like they're walking around the van. So I was just woken up because I heard a car pull up, and it was at the front of the van. So I got up, turned my phone on and filmed, and as soon as I drew the curtains back, they drove off. They got to the end of the road, turned around, and then came back and parked behind the van. I don't even know, like, what they just think that there's just some random van parked here that they might be able to break into, or I don't know, but it's a little bit freaky. It makes me kind of like I'm not moving, but I don't want somebody breaking in thinking there's no one in here, because that would be a right pain.
At first, it drove off, a small relief, but moments later, it came back and parked directly behind her van. The engine cut. Silence swallowed the clearing. Curtains drawn. She watched the taillights through slats of fabric and felt the hair on her arms stand up. Who had stopped? Why here? And what did they want? Against her better judgment, she managed to sleep in fits and starts, praying the strangers would leave. Morning brought a far worse discovery.
What the actual... See that? I don't even think I can shut the door on it. So when I said I got left alone last night, it doesn't look like I did get left alone, does it? I didn't even hear anyone out on the side door. Right, I've got to work out how to do this. I don't think I've got any pliers. Tell you what, it's a good job I haven't got a bulkhead. There we go. Oh, it's miserable out here. How dangerous is that, locking someone in their van?
The van door wouldn't open. Panic bubbled up when she realized someone had cinched cable ties around the handle from the outside. She'd been trapped in her own home overnight. A closer look revealed even more chilling signs. Fingerprints smeared on the fuel cap. Someone had been fiddling with her diesel, and the cable ties suddenly made a cruel kind of sense. They hadn't been casual visitors. They'd planned to keep her from interfering while they tried to siphon fuel, or worse. The quiet clearing was not a random rest stop that night. It had been a targeted predatory stop. What began as a peaceful solo evening became a stark reminder that the road can be dangerous in ways you don't expect. For van dwellers and stealth campers, the wilderness isn't the only threat. Sometimes the most dangerous moments come from people who know how to hide in plain sight. Let's meet Dan, the creator of the popular YouTube channel English Woodsman. Dan is a seasoned outdoorsman who thrives on the solitude and challenge of solo camping, documenting his experiences for his viewers. He's familiar with the strange feelings and unsettling nerves that come with being isolated in the wilderness. But on this particular night, he would encounter something that would push his courage to its absolute limit, turning a routine camp out into a night of pure terror. The trip began like any other, with Dan finding a quiet, secluded spot in a large wooded area. As darkness began to fall, he spoke about the unique mental state of solo camping, the heightened awareness, and the initial nerves that every lone adventurer feels. He explained that it's a process of tuning your senses into the environment where every snap of a twig or rustle of leaves is amplified in the silence.
When you come camping with friends, 2, 3 of you, you sort of like, you don't have a nerve build up, you know, you're not a little bit aware of your surroundings because there's a small group of yourselves. You need just to switch off from your normal life, let's say, and you need to take in your surroundings, your noises, what you were, like I can hear stream over that direction. Yeah, when you're solo camping, you really need to tune in, and you'll do it without realising anyway. But when you solo camp by yourself, I've done this for years, on and off by myself, and every time I still come out and I still need to feel that little bit of...
As he prepared his gear for the night, a subtle but persistent sense of unease began to take hold. While setting up his camp and preparing his dinner, he started hearing faint noises from the edge of his campsite. He tried to brush them off, convincing himself that it was just his mind playing tricks on him, a common side effect of being alone in the vast, dark woods. However, the unsettling feeling of being watched wouldn't go away. Later that evening, Sitting in the deep darkness with only a small lantern for light, he again mentioned the strange sensation of hearing things just beyond his field of view. He attempted to rationalize it as the paranoia that often accompanies solo trips, a familiar yet deeply unsettling part of the experience.
I keep thinking like I heard something. I don't know. It's probably me. Letting my mind play tricks with me. I always keep thinking that I'm hearing something around. But when you're by yourself, your mind can't play.
Finally deciding to get some sleep, Dan made a fateful choice. To block out the unsettling noises and calm his nerves, he turned off his light, put on some music, and sealed himself inside his bivy bag. But the peace was short-lived.
I heard like a weird, like a sniffing noise, like a dog. Earlier we're on about if you're with somebody else, things like this won't bother you, and it's true. But when you're by yourself, little noises do give you butterflies.
A bizarre sound suddenly cuts through the night, a loud, heavy sniffing, almost like a dog, but disturbingly different. The next morning, a visibly disturbed Dan recounted the terrifying events of the night. He confessed that he was spooked the hell out. The sniffing wasn't a single occurrence. It came back 2 or 3 times, waking him from his sleep. His fear grew so intense that after hearing it a second time, he scrambled out of his bivy bag in the dark to move his food and gear, hanging it high in a tree in case whatever was out there was drawn to the scent. It was a harrowing experience that left him on high alert for the rest of the night. Though Dan made it through the night physically unharmed, the question of what was lurking just outside his camp remains unanswered. Was it an ordinary animal or something more sinister, drawn to the presence of a lone camper? Its persistence throughout the night suggests a terrifying curiosity. Dan's ordeal is a stark reminder that, in the deep woods, the silence can be deceiving, and the most frightening encounters are with the things you can hear but can't see. Now, that was all for today, folks. If you enjoyed these clips, subscribe to my channel and click to see more on the video on screen.